Hello, welcome to Morning Flow. Leo Bray here on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. We're at Jackie Lee Houston Plaza by the Palm Springs Convention Center. You can join us here tomorrow or Saturday at 8:15, Sunday at 9:45. Starting next week, we're back at Ruth Hardy Park where these outdoor classes began. Visit us online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook to check out the schedule of daily classes online. And stop by the tip jar, make contributions as you can so you can support our classes. I'm going to start out today seated. Sit in a way that's comfortable for you. That doesn't have to look just like this. Find your comfortable seat. Find grounding in your seat. Close your eyes if you like. Bring your attention to your breathing. Allow some time at the start here for your breath to get deeper and slower. Think about the length of your spine. Sit up tall without being rigid or stiff. Notice the movements of your breathing and the way these movements feel in your body. Scan your body and also take in whatever other sensations are present right now for you. Take particular notice of anything that doesn't feel so good, any soreness or stiffness. You can keep these things in mind as we practice, remembering that you're always welcome to skip or modify any portion of our practice, and thus find the practice that's best for you. Whenever your attention drifts, when your mind wanders, as it inevitably does, just gently redirect yourself. Come back to noticing what's going on in your body, noticing your breath, taking care of yourself by exercising the power of choice. If you wish to set any other intentions for practice, you can do so now. Our last few breaths, resting in stillness. And let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sighing sound. Let your eyes open up if they're closed. We'll start with some circles for our necks. Bring your chin towards your chest. Roll your ear towards your shoulder. And just take your time making circles. Head tips back, over towards the other shoulder. If there's any place in the neck that feels particularly tight as you circle there, you might pause and go back and forth at the tight spot. Help loosen it up. Take some circles in each direction. Keep things balanced. And balance, by the way, will be our theme today. We'll talk about balance here and there throughout practice. Incorporate some movements, some postures, specifically to help us focus on balance. When you finish the next circle, lift your chin and look forward. Bring your hands to the sides, rest your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, lift your left arm up alongside your ear. As you exhale, reach across to the right. Feel for length up and down your left side. So balance in one sense of doing roughly equal things on each side. But as we go through, we'll talk about balance in the more strictly physical sense of staying upright. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come into a twist with your left hand on the ground behind you, your right hand on your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, invite deeper twisting with each breath. See how much. Come back through center. Inhaling, raise your right arm. Exhaling, reach to the left. So we talk about balance or equanimity, meaning doing the same stuff for the left and the right. But we'll focus more on the balance of keeping from tipping over is one way to put it. Inhale to come up, and exhale, come into your twist. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. So when we're sitting down, of course, it's fairly easy to stay balanced and not tip over. Let yourself unwind and come back through center. We'll take some seated cow and cat breaths. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back, let your head tip forward and down. Now here's one where you can think about that tippy kind of balance. Because if you draw your heart back enough, I know this because I've done it, if I draw my heart back further, I can actually overbalance and tip backwards and rock onto my back, lifting my legs off the ground. So staying grounded in your seat as you float back and forth. Because balance doesn't mean this, being still. Balance means there's always some fluctuation. There's always some degree of back and forth. Think of someone walking on a tightrope or a balance beam. There's always a little wobble, always some movement back and forth. After your next exhale, sit upright, and let's make our way up onto our hands and knees and start to challenge our balance a bit more. Reach your right foot back and press the ball of your foot against the ground. With an inhale, pick your foot up, reach straight back through the sole of your foot. So now, fewer points on the ground. Core goes to work a bit, keeping you balanced. With the next inhale, reach your left arm to the side. Even more core engagement going on, a little trickier to balance. If you want some deeper stretching here, you can bend your leg. You can reach back and see about grabbing your foot. If you connect, kick against your hand, lift your knee, lift your chin, open the midline, stretch the quads, open the shoulder. Release and lower down. Reach back and press into the ball of your left foot and take a couple breaths. With an inhale, pick your foot up and reach straight back. With your next inhale, reach your right arm to the side. Bend your leg, reach back, see about the bind. Your body knows how to shift, how to compensate for the changes in grounding, how to stabilize, how to wobble back and forth. Finding equilibrium, release, and lower down. Step your right foot up between your hands and your left foot up to meet it. Let your head and your arms hang down. Bend and straighten your legs and sway back and forth. Hands could drag on the ground or rest on yoga blocks if you've got them, or hang in the air. Maybe clasp the elbows. A lot of people like to do this. Gently nod your head a bit and shake your head a bit. Inhale, lift up halfway, press your hands to your shins. Feel your weight distribute evenly from the front of your feet to the back. Exhale, relax down. Inhale, roll up to standing, hands overhead. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands down at your sides. Lift your left shoulder towards your ear. Shift it back and let it down. And your right shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. Exhale, you can reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself, or take eagle arms. If you're in eagle, then move your elbows and your hands up and forward. Inhale, open your arms. As you exhale, cross them the other way. Inhale, open up. Exhale, let your arms down. Inhale, your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms to the sky. Look up at your hands, lift up your heart. Try to stay grounded in the heels and the balls of the feet, pressing down into your feet. Inhale to come upright. Exhale to bend to the left. Try to keep the right heel anchored. Inhale to come up through center. As you exhale, bend to the right. Try to keep the left heel anchored. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, let your arms come down. We'll start to flow a bit, working into some sun salutations. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back to plank. Find a nice long plank shape. Let your hips settle down. Feel the grounding in your hands and feet, or hands, feet, and knees if you want to lower your knees. Make a shoulder plank. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Keep your elbows in close. Press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest to whatever height feels okay in your lower back each time we go through. Exhale, rock back, pass through table, and take your time to go to downward facing dog. And pedal your feet up and down. Walk your dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your feet forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, down. Plant your hands and step back to your plank. On an exhale, lower, maybe just halfway this time. Inhale to bring your heart forward. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, back and up to downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg up high behind you. Bend your knee, stack your right hip above your left. Feel for even distribution of weight in both hands. Feel the grounding in that left foot. You can flex your right foot and make circles with your knee, or if you like, here's a nice way to play with balance. You could flip your dog. It's an interesting exercise because you go from being balanced to deliberately tipping over and then gently coming back. If you flip, come back. Square your hip down. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose and plant your foot between your hands, runner's lunge. Tent your fingers. Inhale, reach forward, reach up, crescent lunge. If you need to adjust the placement of your feet, do so you feel steady. In other words, if you're wobbling, see if you can wobble less. Think about dropping an anchor from your pelvis to the ground, all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. Keep the knees moving safely and stably. Exhale, sink forward in your hips. Draw your arms down to cactus. Inhale, glide back, reach up. 3 more. Exhale and inhale. You could always drop the back knee and do a lower lunge if this is too much. Twist to the left. Reach your right hand forward, left hand back. You could always drop the right hand to your knee for steadiness. Come back to center, hands at your heart, and twist to the right. We all wobble. Sometimes we fall out of the pose. We just come back and start again. Back to center, hands to heart. Take a big push off the back foot and step forward. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back to plank. On an exhale, lower. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Bend your knee and stack your hips. You can flex your foot and circle your knee, or if you like, you can flip. If you flip, nice and gently, foot back. Square your hip down. Exhale, draw your knee forward, round your back, and plant your foot between your hands. Maybe it takes more than one step. Maybe your arm helps your leg. Come up on your fingertips. Inhale, reach forward, reach up. Drop your anchor, find steadiness on your feet. When you're steady, exhale, sink forward. Inhale, glide back. Movement and breath, smooth and continuous. And twist to the right. Come back to center. And twist to the left. Come back to center. Big push off your right foot, step forward. Quick sip of my water. We're well warmed up. Moving on to some other challenges, some other balance play. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank. And we're going to explore side planks now. So shift your left hand, bring it right under your face. And you're going to tip to the left. Roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. Now options here, you might have your right foot on top of your left. You might have your right foot in front of your left. You could also put the left knee down. Do it like that. See about stacking your hips. So your right hip is above your left. You could bring your right hand to your hip. Shoulders lined up with hips. You could reach the right arm up. You could play with lifting your right leg away from your left, or making tree legs. Place the sole of your right foot on your left calf. Slowly tip back down to plank. Take a breath or two. And we're going to do side plank on the other side, of course. Bring your right hand under your face. Take your time. Roll to the right, tip onto the outer edge of your right foot. Left foot can be on top of that foot or in front. Right knee could be on the ground. You could bring your left hand to your hip or up in the air. If you want, you can play with moving your left leg. Exhale, tip, roll back to plank. Take a little break, shall we? Drop your knees. Bring your big toes to touch. Open your knees if you like and sit back to child's pose. Just breathe here for a minute. Notice what's going on in your body. Modify your child's pose to suit you. Maybe it's active, maybe it's more passive. Inhale, come forward and up, pass through table. Slowly make your way back up to downward facing dog. Take 3 cleansing breaths. And walk your hands back to your feet. Doesn't matter how many little steps you take. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And we're going to play with balancing on one leg. Hands at your heart. Set your eyes on something straight ahead that won't move. Shift your weight from one leg to the other with your feet planted. He's laughing over here because he turned to face away from me so I don't make him wobble more. Good. It handicaps you to look right at somebody else who's doing this while you're trying to do it. When you're ready, bring the weight to your left leg. Pick up your right knee. Open it out to the side. And bring your right foot to your left leg. Maybe your toes are on the ground, heel on the ankle. Maybe the sole of your foot is on your calf. Maybe it's on your thigh if that's in your practice. Just don't push sideways on your knee. Your hands could stay here, or the branches of your tree can go wherever they want. You might find some arm and hand expressions are more steadying, some are more challenging. So play with tree in the way that you like. Maybe you want it to be more challenging. Maybe you want it to be more steady. Maybe there's a lot of breeze, maybe not much at all. And anytime you might put that right foot down and pick it up again. Both the rooting down of the exhale and the rising up of the inhale help us balance. This is the pulse of life, the breath. Right? Root to rise and rise to root. Bring your hands back to your heart if they're elsewhere. Pivot your knee forward and let your foot down. Shake that left leg and anything else that you want to shake. When you're ready, bring your hands back to your heart. Shift side to side again. As many times as you like. When you're ready, drop the weight into your right leg. Pick up your left knee. Take your time. Open it to the side. Bring your foot to your right leg. Take whatever arm expression is calling you here. So we can always change our mind. For some reason, my foot doesn't want to stay on my thigh on that side, so I'll just come to my calf. You can always change your mind. You can always start over. If you fall, you're human. If you get up, you're a yogi. That's what I was taught by Becky Thompson. I should give credit. That's Becky's line. The first teacher to inspire me to teach yoga. Just the way she taught and had me thinking like, hey, I think I could do that. If hands are doing something else, bring them back to your heart and bring your knee forward and let your foot down and shake things out. Okay, take another little sip of water so I can keep talking without making, I hope without making throat clearing noises into the mic. We'll play with Warrior 3. So bring your hands to your heart. We're going to step to a lunge so that your left foot's forward and your right foot's back. Lift the back heel. So we already did this lunge. We're going to use this lunge as a launching position. You're going to push off the back foot and lift it up. And as your leg lifts, let your torso tip. So balance. Let the weight of the torso help the leg raise, or the weight of the leg help the torso dip, however you want to look at it. You come up on one foot like that. Picture your body parallel to the ground. Think of making a footprint with that raised foot on whatever is back there behind you. Hands could stay at your heart for steadiness, or explore reaching past your hips, or to the sides, or out in front. Here too, some positions feel more steadying, some feel more challenging as far as the balance goes. You can put your foot down and pick it up anytime. Exhale, slowly lower your leg. Inhale, slowly stand. Shake things out. And when you're ready, come into your opposite lunge. When you're ready, start to spring off the back foot. Doesn't matter how many bounces it takes. I don't know about you, I never know how many bounces it's going to take until I'm doing it. Take whatever arm expression works for you here. Maybe it's the same one, maybe it's different. If your hands are elsewhere, bring them to your heart. Exhale, lower your foot. Inhale, stand. Shake it out. Okay, so we used a lot of arm strength as we played with side plank. We used a lot of leg strength just now in those two poses. We're going to come back to arms, and we're going to see about playing with crow. And I say see about because it's a different journey for each person. Every crow starts with little 1 second flights. Now you might, and then bringing the yoga blocks with me, you might use a crash pad. I'm going to use these sweatpants just as a demonstration. You can put something on the ground in front of you that you might land on. So a yoga block standing up on end is ideal. Some pillows or folded blankets can also work. We're going to play with standing on our hands, and one of the things that gets in the way is fear of smacking your head on the ground, which is a perfectly good instinct. But before we get to that, the prep pose I like to use to get to crow is malasana. It's a squat. So bring your feet apart, wider than your shoulders. For many, about the width of a yoga mat is a good distance. This is not a yoga mat. This is something else. But if I'm on a yoga mat, I stand so that the edges of the mat are on my arches. Some people like to stand just outside the mat or just inside the edges. You're going to bring your hands to your heart, keeping your spine long. You're going to start to sit down. You might imagine there's a little stool that you're going to sit on. You might even stand a yoga block up down there and aim your tail at the block. And see how low you can go. Try to bring your elbows inside the legs if your arms go as low as your legs. Then you're going to bring your hands to the ground and tip forward so your shoulders are above your wrists. And then you're going to walk your feet towards each other. Here I am going to reorient myself to give side view for the camera. So with the hands planted, the legs are pressing to the backs of the arms just above the elbow. My big toes are together. And then I like to lift one foot, put it down, lift the other, and play with lifting both. So, like I said, everyone starts with 1 second flight. And anytime you can drop your feet, start over. And see if you tip forward. I didn't put my rolled sweatpants in exactly the right place to demonstrate crash pad, but when I did this in yoga teacher training, having a stack of blankets in front of us to let our hands fall onto proved to be a very valuable teaching tool. So you play around. You can start again anytime. See how long your arms can hold you up there. And you can come down anytime and let go. Another way to play with this is if you did have a yoga block, you could just rest your forehead on the block and use that to stand up. You can play a little more if you want. I've had enough. We've had enough out here on the plaza. Should bring a yoga block when I'm going to do that. Anyway, a yoga block standing on end is a great height to rest your forehead on while you're standing on your arms. And it's easy to get frustrated when we play with this stuff. If you're new at it, you're like, oh, I didn't stay up very long. Just keep at it. Practice makes progress. Trust me, the first time I did that, I did not hang out in the air like that for 10 seconds talking my head off. All right, let's have a seat and extend legs forward. Flex feet back towards you. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend, let them bend. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your leg and sit yourself up. Pardon me, there it is. Let your arms nudge your legs apart to whatever degree feels all right for you and your body. Walk your hands down your legs as far as you can, wherever that is, doesn't matter. Take your time. Bring your left hand over by your right hand. Reach your right arm to the side. Turn your head. Look for your hand. Turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow. Reach the back of your hand towards your left hip. Peel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm. Sweep the right hand back over by the left hand. Bring your left hand over to your right leg or right foot. I mean left. I just mixed up my left and right. Back here. Bring the right hand over by the left hand. Oops. I have to have one of those per class, I think, is an unwritten rule. Open your left arm to the side. Turn your head. Look towards your hand. Turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow. Reach your hand towards the opposite hip and peel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm. Bring the left hand back to the right hand. And bring your right hand over to the right side. Walk your hands up your legs and sit yourself up. Nudge your legs together. Bring the soles of your feet to the ground. Knees pointing up. Reach your hands forward alongside your knees. And lean back as far as you can without tipping over or lifting your feet. I'm going to do some core work here and play with balance. Lift your feet a little. Take a couple breaths. You can let them down anytime. You can grab your legs with your arms to assist. Take it the highest you can go and lift your feet halfway there. Lift your feet as high as you can. Take a couple breaths. Lower about halfway. Take a couple breaths. Lower most of the way. Take a couple breaths. Let your feet down. Good. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees splay out. Leave a big space between your heels and your pelvis. Going to grab the ground. You can reach under your ankles and grab the ground, or if that doesn't work for you, reach over your ankles and grab the ground. Either way, then walk your hands forward on the ground. Let your neck disengage, let your head drop, and breathe into the center of your lower back. Start to scoot your hands back, lift your torso. Keeping your feet together, draw your heels in as close as you can. Grab your feet, wriggle on your seat. Bring the bones in your seat closer to the ground and tilt your pelvis forward. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. And when the long spine's not lowering anymore, let your head lower. Breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit up. Bring your hands to your legs. Lift your knees towards each other. Plant your hands out past your hips. Wiggle your knees further apart. Your feet further apart. Maybe your feet are at the edges of your mat. Let your knees go back and forth. If you wanted a bigger movement here, you might, as your knees go to the right, reach your left hand and left hip up. It's a bit like flipping your dog from three-legged dog, but it's stabler and more accessible. It doesn't have that fear factor. When you first practice going from three-legged dog to flipping, it can feel a little unsettling to let yourself tip over like that. Bring your feet in closer. Set your feet this far apart, 2 fists between the tops of your feet. Bring your hands behind you. Scoot your butt towards your heels. Come onto your forearms and onto your back. You wind up on your back with your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. Press into the soles of your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up for bridge pose. If you want to go further here, opening the heart, you can wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other, clasp your hands under you, and reach your knuckles towards your heels. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them. Exhale slowly. Let your hips come down. Float up and down for 3 or 4 times. Follow your breath. Inhale to go up. Exhale to go down. Go as slowly as you want, as high as you want. And next time you land, pause. One more bit of balancing. We'll play with a bridge variation for a little more balance. Play. Cross your right ankle above your left knee. Figure 4 legs. We're going to do the same movement. We're going to do bridge movement, just using one leg to lift up. So when you're ready, press into the sole of your left foot and inhale to lift your hips up. Maybe take a couple breaths at the top if you like, if you can. Exhale, slowly come down and float up and down a few times there. So here your arms may be engaging, pressing palms and forearms to the ground. Help steady you in this one-legged bridge movement. Pause next time you land. Let's use this leg configuration for our twist. Reach your arms to the sides. Keeping your shoulder blades on the ground, let your legs fall to the left and turn your head to the right. Come slowly back up to center and switch the cross of your leg. Plant your right foot, cross your left ankle above your right knee. Bring your hands back past your hips here with the palms on the ground to steady you for your one-legged bridge. When you're ready, press into the sole of your foot and inhale to lift your hips up. If you like, take some breaths at the top of the first one. Exhale, slowly come down and explore A few more rounds of breath, lifting up and down. After you land, next time, reach your arms to the side, let your legs fall to the right and turn your head to the left. Come slowly back to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest. Hug your knees and rock and roll on your back. Massage it against the ground. Even this is a little balancing work, right? We are exploring movement, but maybe without consciously thinking about it, trying not to tip over onto our side. Reach your feet up towards the sky. Reach your hands up and grab your legs or your feet, wherever you want to grab on. Play with bending and straightening your arms and legs. Happy baby pose. Also a little tipping back and forth energy, maybe trying not to tip on one side. Maybe you do tip over. Maybe you let yourself tip over. I kind of like to tip over sometimes in happy baby legs. So if there's some other inversion you want to do, feel free to do it. In honor of Balancing Day, I'm play with a headstand or some headstands. Just because. You're welcome to do a shoulder stand, a plow, continue with happy baby. But this is a real fun way for me to balance. You can invert however you like and as long as you like. When you feel complete, start to make your way to your final resting pose. And maybe that's Shavasana, corpse pose with your legs extended, your feet splayed apart, your hands resting at your sides. But it doesn't have to be this posture. It's more important to be comfortable than it is to be in this shape. So if it's not comfortable lying flat on your back, often this isn't comfortable in the lower back for some folks. You might plant the soles of your feet and let your knees lean towards each other. This takes pressure out of the lower back, feels nicely grounding. You might bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees splay open. If you choose that, you might have yoga blocks here between your legs and the ground. You might scoot over by the wall or a piece of furniture and continue inverting. Rest your legs on the support of the furniture or the wall. Find whatever posture you can be comfortably still in for a couple minutes, quietly breathing, letting your breath slow down and get deeper again. Perhaps simply focusing on your breath or reflecting on some intention you had set for yourself when we began today, or thinking about balance, maybe in senses besides the one we've been working with our playing around, standing on one leg and flying in crow. Where do you have balance in your life? Where do you want or need more balance? Where are you seeking balance? Where is it easy? Where is it more challenging or elusive? Sometimes we struggle with these non-physical, non-postural notions of balance because we get hung up on steady state. We think things need to be fixed at certain points. When really, as we demonstrated to ourselves when we stood on one leg or balanced on our hands or did a side plank, there's always a wobble in balancing. There's always some back and forth. There's some give and take. These fluctuations are what balance is about. Maybe you don't want to deliberately reflect. Maybe you want to intentionally disconnect and just give your mind permission to drift. You give yourself some deeper breaths. Begin slowly moving around bit by bit. Allow your movements to gradually grow bigger and bigger. Moving mindfully, taking your time. Make your way up to a seat as you're ready. And bring your hands by your heart if you like. Thank you for sharing practice today. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.